Hello everyone. In this video I would like to show you how you can compile wxWidgets from source and then start using it for making graphical user interfaces or GUIs. Well, I would say that wxWidgets is one of the better choices when it comes to making graphical user interfaces in C++. But as you can see, it has bindings in other languages as well, for example in Python and some others. But we're going to focus on C++ for now specifically. Well, there are maybe like two similar options. One of them is Qt or Qt, depending on how you want to say it. Or the Qt framework is actually like a full-fledged framework. So it doesn't necessarily focus only on the GUI part, but it has other tools and functionalities that you can use basically for anything you may want to do in an application. So it's bigger in that sense, but wxWidgets focuses more on the actual GUI part. So it kind of gives you more flexibility when it comes to development, because you can combine it with other solutions, not necessarily it doesn't like enforce one particular style, if you will. And it also has a more permissive license as far as I know, so you can use it pretty much for anything. One other option I can think of, or if I've tried, is something called UPP, I think. It's kind of similar to wxWidgets, except I think it doesn't run under Mac OS, so that's probably the downside. So wxWidgets has like a more like a broader, I would say, support when it comes to it being cross-platform. Okay, and maybe let me show you just one difference between those frameworks or those solutions, those systems. This is just a simple app I made a while ago, and or using wxWidgets. It's not finished, but for demonstration purposes it should work just fine. So what I want to show is that it actually uses like the native controls of the underlying operating system. In this case, it's Windows. So you can see that they're separate. Even this bar at the bottom is a separate component. So that's for wxWidgets. And if you go to a Qt example, here's an app I've been working on that is written with the help of Qt. If you go over here, it's just one window, and those controls, those buttons and everything, they are drawn basically on this window, right? And it's pretty much the same when it comes to UPP. As you can see, there's just one window with controls drawn on it. You cannot really differentiate between those buttons. So I think it's actually when it comes to wxWidget, it's I would say a plus. It's an advantage, because I actually had problems with some OpenGL rendering with Qt, and then wxWidgets came to the rescue, because as you can see, it has a separate GL canvas window, so it kind of doesn't mess with the rest of the window when that is being drawn on. So at least that's my experience. So anyway, without any further ado, let's grab the installer here. So we're gonna go for the zip file. I'm gonna go ahead and download it. It's only like 39 megabytes, so it shouldn't take too long. We're gonna open it here, and then we're gonna go ahead and extract it. Okay, so let's go inside this folder, and I'm going to be using Visual Studio for this tutorial. So let's go to I think it's build and the MSW folder. So just try to find the most recent solution, and we're just gonna go ahead and click it. It should take us to Visual Studio. Alright, so without going into the details, what you can do is you can go to the Build tab, go click Batch Build, and then just select all of them and click the Build button. It may take a while depending on your system, so I'm just gonna pause or stop the video for now, and I'm gonna come back after it's done. So you should be able to see some output here. If it fails for some reason, then you can try to rebuild it without clearing the files, the object files that have already been created. So okay, let's just close this for now and see you soon. Okay, so it's done. The process is finished. Everything went well. So we can basically go to the folder, the build folder, and we can delete those object files, those object folders, because they take up a lot of space. So we don't really need them anymore unless we are trying to recompile it for some reason. But since everything was successful, we don't really need to do that. So we're gonna delete them permanently. Right, so once it's done, we can go on level up, and what we're really interested in is the lib folder. So we have the 32 and 64-bit versions, either DLLs or statically linked. So nice thing to do now is to actually follow this example. So as you can see here, we can add the wxWin variable to our user variables. So we're going to go to settings, the settings panel on Windows, advanced system settings, environment variables. We're going to add this variable, we could do it here if we want to add it just for the user, or kind of globally if you use the second option here. So let's try to add it for just the user. So variable name, we're going to copy this path to where we installed when we unzipped the wxWidgets archive. So let's paste it here. Okay, it's here and we should be good to go. Okay to close it. So back to Visual Studio, we're going to create a Hello World program just to test the basic functionality of wxWidgets and also see if it's working properly. So go to File, New, Project. We're going to go with the empty template. Next, then let's call it wx Hello World. Create. Won't be doing much, basically displaying a window with some title. For now, let's just go to source files and create a new item. Let's leave it at source.cpp. Click add. But before we write any code here, let's go to the project properties and then to C++ general, and we're going to focus on the x64 platform, so the 64-bit platform. If for some reason you want to target the 32 architecture, then you would probably go over here and it should be similar, but we're going to focus on x64. So make sure you have it here, and here all configuration, meaning the debug configuration as well as the release configuration. Okay, so over here we're going to go to additional, include directories, and we're going to be including this folder as well as this one. So let's copy this, but instead of this part we actually be using the macro that we created earlier. So it's going to be wxWin include msvc, as well as the include folder itself. So hit apply, and then we're going to go to the preprocessor part, to the definitions, and we're going to do it separately for debug and release. So delete the console part, because obviously it's going to be a window application. And over here we're just going to say CRT secure, no warnings. And then underscore wx msw underscore, and also underscore Unicode for Unicode string support. And we leave the rest. Apply. Let's just copy this part actually and go to the release mode. Paste it over here. And we're just going to delete the console part. Otherwise it's pretty much the same. Okay, so once we're done with that, we go to linker. In general, we go to additional library directories. we're gonna be linking it statically, so we're just gonna need this folder here. Let's just switch it to the macro. wxWin. So if for some reason you move it somewhere, you just have to update your environment variable instead of updating your project file. Yeah, so this is a pretty useful option. So it's going to be in release as well as in debug mode. So apply. As you can see, it's in both. And then finally, let's go to system, and let's make sure it's all configurations, and from console we're gonna change it to subsystem Windows. Hit apply, and hopefully we'll be good to go. So let's just write a very basic app. We're gonna include wxH, and you're gonna say class, let's call it myFrame. It's like basic thing that inherits from a window, so it's pretty basic, or it's used in pretty much every program that you be writing. So it's gonna be inheriting from wxFrame. Now let's just make a public public constructor here. And myFrame is gonna take a title of that frame. So we're gonna use wxString. We also initialize the base class, so wxFrame. It has no parent, so null. Window ID, we can just say wxID any. I'm going to pass the title over here. So let's just add public here before wxFrame. And now another class that represents the app itself. So it's called myApp. It's gonna inherit from wxApp. And it's gonna have a method that is actually an overridden method. So let's say a virtual bool on init override, just to be explicit that we're overriding the virtual method. So myFrame, let's call it frame new myFrame, and just gonna say hello world. Then we say frame show true. Yeah, it's actually true by default, so we don't have to specify it, and return true, or maybe we can even make it shorter by just returning the result of show. And then one more thing, wxImplement app, and we're gonna pass my app here. So hopefully it works. I'm gonna try in debug mode first, but without debugging. And you can see the Hello World window here. Let's try and release as well. And it works just fine. So there you go. This is a very basic window, and that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please subscribe for more, and also to support me so I can make more content. So thank you for watching, and bye.